I had a brain freeze on my end. I don't even know whether it started yet. It's looking like it's saying it's streaming. Could someone confirm in the chat whether you can see us? Charlie, say something. Yep. Okay, they see us. Well,
Hey.
I didn't even get the intro music or anything. My screen completely froze, so I had to reboot it.
How long have you had terrible internet for?
No, but I've got decent internet now, mate. That's the worst part. Just it had a brain freeze, but it's kind of a bit of a running meme that everything always goes wrong whenever I stream, mate. But Charlie, welcome, buddy. It's been a long time since we first, mate. I reckon it would have to be around about 10 years, almost to a day, since we met.
We'd be very close. And how did we meet?
Running out of the hangars.
I remember it slightly differently, but
I remember I'd been doing
in
the
the
hangars.
same area. Yeah. I remember being in the tree line just near the hangars, and I've come up, I think from memory, the way I remember it is I came up behind you.
It scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that. I remember it.
But
very
I reckon
clearly.
that would have to be one of the big inspirations for me starting to try to be more interactive focused when playing the game, because for most people DayZ was just a PvP shoot fest. But for me, the true core of the game is those random, like the Australian Embassy we had that time. Those interactions where it's just pure chaos.
That was disgusting, but very funny.
Oh, that was so funny, the Australian Embassy. That was so funny, but we'll come back to that later. Charlie, how you been, mate?
Good. I have zero complaints. Life is pretty awesome, actually. I'm really happy to be here, dude.
We've got Tony in chat there saying he loved your Duck Hunter, and he also took part in those good old BWOF events we did back in the day, mate. With Wee Devil and Mick Ballistic and the crew.
Mate, yeah, I still reach out to those guys.
Same. Wee Devil. Mick, I haven't spoken to in a while.
He's all right.
Wee Devil I speak to quite often. Yeah, he seems to have moved away from gaming and
mate, he's pretty much a professional Metallica fan at this point. Just going to the concerts, just traveling and going to live shows. But those,
good for him. If he's happy, that's good.
Yeah, those DayZ events were, man, they were fun. But they were, I don't think anyone ever understood the whole gestalt.
I think some people who were doing similar stuff back in the day do, but nowadays they don't. They don't understand just how much time, effort, blood, sweat, and tears went into trying to organize a global, not just a local event on a server, but a global event with people from around the world.
Yeah, that was massive. Massive.
It was huge. But it was also such a community building exercise, what we're talking about, folks, for those that don't know, is I've got a series of videos somewhere. I'm in the process of moving all my personal stuff from my old channel to my new channel. But Charlie and I, along with Mick, Norrie, Wee Devil, and a bunch of other people, but we came up with this brainchild of doing what we call the DayZ Ashes. For those of you who aren't Australian watching, or British, Australia and the Poms have a cricket series that's played every year called the Ashes. And we decided, why not have a battle in DayZ?
That was your idea, by the way.
It was me and Mick with Norrie.
There you go.
But we all got together, and I think it was 20 aside. And we did one match on a British server, one match on an Aussie server, and the last match on a US-based server. So to even out the ping.
The 400 ping.
You couldn't spawn in gear, so we had to make basically an open server with no rules. You couldn't even enforce no shooting or anything like that. It was just a gentleman's agreement, and people spent literally a week or more just looting up getting gear, and then on the day of the event, again, this is that community aspect of it. We all just wanted to have a good event, so everyone was just dumping gear everywhere, going, "I've got extra of this, I've got extra of this."
Yeah.
We were taking some of the Poms gear. We had to pick uniforms, and we would grab some of their gear and say, "Yeah, I've got some spare black gear for you guys," and they had some spare camo gear for us, and everyone would just dump it, and then would wipe the server or restart the server, so all that stuff despawned, and then the event would start. But man, was such community building shit.
I still get shit for making everyone take their pants off.
You fucking should, though.
Well, why didn't someone say that's a terrible idea?
We were, but you were adamant. I can still remember it. It was like, no, we need to, because Charlie, they're all wearing black. We're not going to mistake them. No, we need to take our pants off. It'll make it easier. Yeah, easier for them to fucking shoot us.
That's true. And that's exactly what happened too.
It was so, and I was the first to fucking die as well in the first Ashes as well. It was just, fuck. I know Vanguard tried his best to save me, but there was nothing. The guys were telling me the Poms afterwards. They're like, "Boydie, man, your fucking lily white legs were just sticking out." Like Vanguard was smart. He chose the African American skin or whatever it is. So with the black skin, he wasn't sticking out like
as
the white, all those white little white legs that the rest of us are running around with. But
slightly embarrassing,
was fun.
But I still deserve to get shit for that.
It was fun though. It was just great to have been part of something back in the day that was just very ambitious. I don't think really, bar Hicks's Survivor games, I don't think anyone had. Maybe they had. Maybe I'm just rose tinted glasses, but I don't think anyone had tried anything so ambitious.
No, I don't. I haven't seen anyone do it since.
I've tried a couple of times, but even today, with it being easier, it's just too hard to get that many people together. But I don't understand why, because there's more players now.
But
and we did it back in the day. Well,
you need good team leaders and community leaders.
Yeah, Ben and Mick with their BWOF guys. And that's it. We had Pipsy guys join us to flesh out the numbers of the Australian team, because it was pretty much our Aussie convicts community and Pipsy were the two main ones from my memory back in the day.
A couple of other really small ones jumped in there as well, like
TLA
jumped in.
Yeah, well, TLA was a big one back in the day.
Yeah, so TLA, UGC.
The Poms had Gents of Novo and UK Alliance joined the BWOF guys. So it was a united international, but also united locally community event, which was, something that you've continued doing to this day with your gaming battlegrounds. That whole community focus. Which is, for those who don't know, like Charlie was probably, along with Vigilante Gamer, Charlie was probably one of the biggest Australian DayZ content creators in the early days of DayZ. But then you just stepped away from it.
I did, buddy. I can tell you why if you want to know.
Yeah, we do. That's what I've got you on.
Answer. Okay. Anyone that's going to be easily offended by this, so here's your trigger warning. We went to PAX, you and me.
2015.
And we met Brian Hicks. Now, before meeting Mr. Hicks, I had some interaction with him through Twitter and at a couple of events, and that was cool. And the game was feeling like it might get better, but in reality, it hadn't changed. In fact, at that point, he was going backwards to strip it back to rebuild it. Do you remember that?
Yep.
He was going backwards, stepping back. And I was getting a little bit frustrated, but I was hanging in there because our community was fucking banging. And we went to Melbourne and we went to PAX, and I met Brian. And as we all did, I shook that man's hand and we had a few nice conversations. I looked him right in the eye, and he said to me that, things were going to change. This is what's going to happen 100%. It's going to happen in this time frame. We've ironed out the bugs. And after we left, I was filled with boyish glee. I was extremely pumped and psyched and ready to go. And then 3 or 4 months had passed. And not only had nothing changed when he was talking in terms of weeks, but it had gotten worse and gone backwards. And that's when it dawned on me. I then saw Mr. Hicks as a scaly, shiny tooth fucking salesman. And it just broke my heart. And I went, I shook your hand and you fucking looked me right in the eye. And you said you were going to do this and this and this. But it wasn't a case of his hands were tied by this and that. He was the lead on the dev team. It's not a case of, hey, can you please do this? It's a case of, come on, guys, we're going to do this. And he just didn't.
Did you ever watch the interviews I did with Brian?
I did. I watched them all.
What did you think of his responses to talking about the challenges of developing DayZ on the legacy engine that they had?
I understand that. I understood technically what he was saying, but I also believe he's a very well-trained marketing man who knows exactly what to say when he has to. He didn't sugarcoat anything. I'll give him that. He was straightforward in what he was saying, but if it was a book, I still wasn't buying it. Look, you can call me jaded, and the DayZ community can say whatever they want about Hicks.
There's a lot of people who agree with you.
Yeah, but it was I can say this, it was a pleasure to meet him because he was personable and friendly.
Very.
But he was a salesman, and that broke me. The game kept dying, and it didn't matter how much effort we put into it, because I think one of the last big videos I made was on one of the last patches, and I made a statement and I'll stand by it. And that statement was, it's a real shame that the old problems are still the fucking current ones. And that's why I stepped away from DayZ standalone. It wasn't because of the people. Well, there was a slight other reason. I'm going to get a bit deep here, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
Remember when my sister passed away?
Yep.
It broke me. That broke me, and I acted terribly. As was pointed out to me not all that long ago, someone said to me, yeah, when your sister died, you turned into a real asshole. You see, I didn't realize that. I knew I was being a bit of a knob, but I turned into a complete control freak, and I actually got locked out of our own TeamSpeak. What kind of asshole was I being to make that happen to myself? And I did it. So my whole world just collapsed in on itself, and I was the reason it turned out that I had to walk away from DayZ.
Can I ask who said that to you?
I can't say, but it's for the sake of everyone else here, it was another Tassie DayZ dude that we used to play with a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You got me?
Yep.
I'm not gonna blast his name out there, but he had every right to say it because he was.
I'm going to say that's a good friend to not be afraid to voice their opinion, whether it was right or wrong, but to tell you how they felt. That's the sort of people that you need around you who aren't afraid to say, dude.
Mate, I got you. But I was cooking it pretty hard, man. I was trying to do a million different events. I was trying to do this and do that, and it just.
You were very ambitious. You
want to go big, mate.
Go home. Well, what is it? Go hard or go home.
That's all I ever did was go big.
Yeah, well, and arguably you succeeded.
Well,
no, well, I would argue that you found your feet. Sadly, with another game that didn't support its player base, I would argue potentially, unless you were a global fucking PvP Chad, PUBG didn't support the.
No, but I tell you. Because, of course, you're talking about PlayerUnknown's Battleground.
Yep.
Right. So after I stepped away from DayZ, I was throwing a tantrum. Fucking game. I'm sick of this shit. So I stepped back into my roots of first-person shooters, and I started playing Battlefield. And a friend of mine that you may remember played with us a couple of times in a couple of events. He was in the Pipsy ACAF on the island. His name is Red Wolf.
Yeah, I remember Red Wolf.
Right.
Good bloke.
Yeah. Well, we played Battlefield together. And I was playing Battlefield, and he said, "Hey, man, have you seen this new PUBG game?" And I'm like, "Nah, I'm not fucking interested in it. Piss off." Because I played H1Z1, and that turned into pay to win. So in my mind, that I was already locked into. That's what H1Z1 was the worst pay to win you've ever seen in your life. But then PUBG came out, and I'm like, "All right, I'll have a game."
Today's episode of The Spotlight is brought to you by Rage Shadow Legends.
Yeah.
I see your H1Z1 and raise you Rage Shadow Legends.
Yeah. Oh, man. So I had one game of PUBG and I was instantly locked in.
Yeah.
Because honestly, there is no feeling when you first start playing that game of trying to survive, find some shit and kill someone and make it to the circle. I still get that feeling when I play it now, and I still play it. Just because I'm old, my old man eyes, I don't have the sight and the reflexes that I used to. Mind you, Boddy, I was never a good player in DayZ.
You held your own, mate. You held your own. You were a decent PvPer.
Let's say mid class, and I'm happy with that. So I played one game and I was addicted. And Red Wolf had seen the success we'd had with DayZ, and he said, "I'm going to start a PUBG page on Facebook." And I went, "Cool. I'm not fucking interested, man." And then he added me anyway, and then made me an admin, and the rest is just history. We went from 20 members in week 1 to about 2,000 about 4 days later. It just took off. Yeah,
that's insane growth. That for a Facebook group as well, you know, the old boomer book, that a lot of people would kill to have around a project they're starting.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. I've never seen anything grow like that.
And it got noticed too.
Yeah, man, 100%. It did. Some people saw what was happening, and a couple of things happened to line up what PlayerUnknown's, that was PlayerUnknown's Battleground Australia. What a horrible, horrible name for a group. But that's what it was, and that's what we made it. And I had a slight advantage in that game, and it was all thanks to DayZ. But can you tell me why I had the advantage, Boydie?
Just I would guess connections of people interested in that field.
No, in the actual game itself, in playing it, I had the advantage when that game started.
Oh, it's a looter shooter at its core.
Yeah, that's right. And because it was third person when it first came out.
Yeah, yep.
And what have we been playing for years? DayZ
third person in DayZ, because first person was dead.
Yep, and there was no other third person game. So while people were struggling at that, people like myself and like Butch, Butcher Steve, Butch? He was phenomenal. We just accelerated and took off. So that was thanks, DayZ. I appreciate it. Apart from all the wonderful memories, that really helped.
And you ended up getting some good sponsors behind that group too.
Yeah, I mean, look, we were doing well and the numbers were growing. There was no such thing as private service back then, but if you all queued up at the same time, you generally end up in the same game. Generally, because there
especially in Australia, because of our smaller player base.
That's right, and we'd put up there, what times we're going to jump on and whatnot. And it was a really nice community, and there was no Discord. Well, Discord had just started. I think we literally went TeamSpeak to Discord. Or Dolby Axon. I can't remember what we were using, but something like that. And
it's a shame that Dolby Axon never took off. I remember using that a few times with you. It had some good abilities that the other programs were lacking.
Oh, mate, like audio-wise, there was nothing like it. It was absolutely fantastic. But you look, so at that point, the game was going really well, and everyone was playing it everywhere, and some big names were starting to come, but none from Australia really, because it hadn't quite clicked over to professional yet. So you could get, well, someone joined our group called Hawkins, and Hawkins worked for PUBG.
He was a community manager from memory.
Yeah, that's right. And he approached us and another group called PUBG OCE, but that was all Australia and all the Oceanic players. And of course, we were always head to head with those guys quite a bit. So Hawkins, I said to him, look, how do we get a private server? I've seen big celebrities like who was the UFC fighter, Rampage Jackson. So Rampage Jackson was a popular PUBG player. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, Rampage Jackson. It's like he got his own server, and I said, how do we do that? Because I promise you we can fill a server in a heartbeat. And he said, right, okay, you've got to apply for it. So he gave us the right thing. We filled it out, and then he filled out the rest. Good on him. And lo and behold, we had our own private server, and we're the first ones in Australia to be able to do, like we'd do Sunday night customs where you can choose the mode, the guns, all that kind of stuff. And then it just made perfect sense just to keep it going. And we started our own league. So the first league that was here. So it had the players like Flood and Critical Motion and Luke 12 and all those guys. Luke 12 was just a young fella.
Oh, yeah.
But they all
I still feel bad. I still feel bad. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, all right. So now, in the midst of this, someone else called Ben reached out to me, and he was the NVIDIA's representative for, the NVIDIA representative for Australia and New Zealand. He reached out and said, "Hey, man, I've seen what you're doing. I've watched all your videos, and how would you feel about letting us support you guys? Would you do a competition?" And we took it back to the admin. So the admin, this is by far, and I know we did a lot of work with DayZ, but this current Battlegrounds Australia admin team, they are absolutely phenomenal. There are some really sharp, smart minds in it. They are organized, they are focused. And because I'd just come from a place that I'd made toxic with my own stupidity and selfishness, I was a different human. And they brought me, like, we all met playing different games and then just came together in this one group. And they were so well organized. I put it to them, and they're like, yeah. And we didn't get anything from it. NVIDIA just gave prizes away.
And they were good prizes too.
Oh, yeah. They really
top of the line graphics cards and
your monitors, that whole thing. So that was the start of what would eventually become a really nice relationship between me and NVIDIA ANZ. Sorry, not worldwide, but they really did help grow our group, because the numbers quickly shot through the roof. Because when you post on Facebook or Twitter or something like that, hey, you could win a 2080 Ti graphics card just by watching this stream, and it's a competition of all Australian guys, people are they're on, and they're ready to go.
And that's $2,000 graphics card back then, I think it was, roughly.
And this wasn't a competition for pros. This is just, we only did a handful of professional level competitions. This was all amateurs, to the point where our admins were checking their Steam accounts for hours played on PUBG. Like, if you had under 100 hours, you're in, baby. But the Sunday night customs that we used to do, Sunday night custom games, that was for anyone, and it was up to 100 people. I really miss those games. But then PUBG just made, now anyone could create their own server, and this is what brought PUBG down in Australia. PUBG said, right, anyone can make your own custom server now. That then cut off any community events. It didn't make them, you didn't have to apply to get into one. You didn't have to search for them. You just jump into any old private match that someone's made. So they took the community out of PUBG. PUBG literally did that themselves because then there was no point. You know what I mean? It was all crazy. But yeah, that NVIDIA came on board of their own volition because they saw the game, they saw the group, they saw that the admins were getting, like, it's one of the cleanest gaming groups in Australia, I'd say. There are, and yeah, maybe we do nanny it a bit, and the same as the Discord, but
you kind of
so
have
simple.
to once you reach a certain point with some big name sponsors. If you want to be able to do the good giveaways, you've got to behave to a certain standard. You can't have 4chan style trolling happening there and then expect to still have a sponsor come in and say, here's $4,000, $5,000 worth of stuff to give away.
Yeah. Oh, mate, that's the tip of the iceberg. Some of those, that Pro-Am, the prizes were ridiculous.
Let's talk the Pro-Am.
Okay.
Let's share my shame.
Oh, shut the fuck up. It's not shame.
I killed Zombate or whatever his name is. So that was the only highlight for me. Zoid, mate. Oh.
I'm glad you did. That was good. I was hoping I'd get to have a crack at it, but you did it well.
So Charli did a Pro-Am, which, as the title suggests, it's a professional player teamed up with an amateur. And it was a mix of the level of the amateurs. Some of the amateurs were borderline pros, and some of the amateurs were me sort of level. And as much as possible, they tried to balance it. So it wasn't, the best person like a Luke 12 getting teamed up with the best amateur, and they just would have dominated. Which, for anyone who watched, my fucking God, there was good in Australia, and then there was Luke 12. He was God tier at the time. Like,
all those pros were really good, but there was a couple in there. There's a couple that couldn't make it, like Flood. He was a naturally, but he couldn't make it that night. But there was players like Luke 12 and Waikika Mukau.
Oh,
he was in there as well.
Literally the best name I've seen for a streamer in a long time. I love his name, Waikika Mukau.
Yeah. Crit was there. He was a beast back then. Yeah.
Yep.
And there was some virgining pros like B2. He was young, but he was getting there. Yeah. And then teamed up with just average. Some average, like myself and yourself. No great stats there.
No, you're average. I'm way below average.
Yeah. Well, but it really came down to the relationship with your pro and how was your run with him?
It was really good. He was just the nicest young guy. We did a trial run beforehand where which we tried to learn, and pretty much in the end I said to him, look, mate, use me as your recce tool, as your cannon fodder. If you basically tell me what to do, and I'll fucking do it, even if it means I die. I don't care. I'm shit. I'm fucking shit, and I will pretty much do whatever you tell me to do. And he was like, "You sure?" And I went, "Fuck yeah." I'm not in this to try and get the most kills or anything like that. I'm in this to have fun and try not to hold you back as much as I know I'm going to.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was a real experience at Pro-Am, and there's a lot of money thrown at it.
Is that for real, Kate? That's a place in New Zealand, Waikika Mukau.
Yeah.
Really? That's awesome. I need to go to this place. That's on my bucket list now. I need to go to. I need to go. I can't. And I'm going to say it. I need to go kick a cow on Waikika Mukau.
Yeah, that's right. It was good to see all those people play the game as best they could. I felt bad you always feel bad for the people that get out early, and that goes for the Survivor events we did in DayZ.
Yep.
The BWAP stuff, the ACAF stuff, the Pipsy stuff. You feel for like mine a couple of times. I died first, right? But that gave me an opportunity to get in and watch, which I was always extremely grateful for. But yeah, Pro-Am was a really nice, fun event. And NVIDIA didn't have to do any of this.
even with me holding Luke back, the guy still almost won. We came second, I think,
Yeah, he did.
because he was just that much of a beast of a player,
Yeah.
and just such a nice young lad. There was no attitude like some other people who shall remain nameless. He was just he was there to have fun and try to win, and everyone was in awe that he was there, because he was one of the few, barring the I can't remember, I can picture their logo, but Critical Motions team with Edge in them. Luke was actually playing for one of the best teams in the world at the time, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was. Oh, shut
American
up.
one.
Yeah, blue and white and dark blue. Oh, I can't remember, bud. But yeah, you are correct. He was in that team, but he's not the best now.
No,
No.
that was early days. You know, the player base, they start to watch, and they lift up. And I've been playing with a young guy in DayZ. His name's Rue, and he was in the amateur scene, and I think he made the tryouts for the team he was with for one of the local to decide who gets to go to the World Cup or something like that. So he's a damn good player. But I look at him and I think, you're like a Luke 12-ish in my eyes. But the shit he can do when he plays, just even in DayZ, but that skill base is lifted. But it's kind of sad what's happened to that game.
Yeah. So it turned into the mobile version of the game. That's what you have now. Having said that,
classic.
I will say this about DayZ as well. Actually, no, I'll come back to that. But PUBG's never run better technically, from a technical standpoint. If you go purely on smoothness of engine and the graphics optimization, it looks very good and it plays very, very fast. So, but all the rest of it, all the cosmetics, all the cringy dances they do, like it just like all those small things.
But even
that
some of
add
those
up
things they've added, the
to just
heartbeat
hideous stuff.
monitors, and
all that
it's
stuff.
become quite gamey. Whereas I liked it a bit more bare bones.
Very COD.
Yeah.
And not the good Modern Warfare 2, like the first one, COD. No, it's very run and jump off a wall. I'm surprised that hasn't been put in yet. Yeah. Wall running, sorry. Yeah, give it time.
But no, it was such a great game. Player, but again, I think it's quite similar to DayZ in that I think there's also a bit of resentment from some of the community that PlayerUnknown eventually left. The same as there's a lot of resentment towards Dean Hall for leaving DayZ. But it's business, folks. As much as it sucks, the PlayerUnknown come up with an idea. Someone gave him an absolute shit ton of money to develop that. So,
and then the corporation did what corporation does. They just try and squeeze every dollar they can out of it.
Yeah.
I, up until only maybe last year, was still buying the season pass every season.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Just because I like it. There's some things on there I did like. But no, it's a completely different game now. But you play if you play the best mode, in my opinion, of course, first person, OCE and duos. Wow, fantastic! It's a fantastic thing. They reinstated some old maps, updated everything. It looks really good. But yeah, I mean, when they let the servers go public and now everyone can create their own private server, that was the first step in the massive decline of PlayerUnknown's original game.
I thought for me personally, it was when they turned off VoIP in the lobby. It just felt like you were battling against other bots. I understand why they did. With the whole you can't say mean things and all the rest of it, and not just enabling people just to switch off their audio in the lobby. They made it a blanket ban, and it just kind of made the game dispersonal to me. And then when they did add bots, as well. It was kind of like, but again, I understand that, it kept the player numbers up, so to speak. But
So to speak.
yeah,
They keep killing me too. It's so depressing
mhm.
because they were terrible at the start. Then they
I would
accidentally
rather
went one
play with
step too
5
far.
people than play with 5 people and 90 bots.
Yeah, I get you. Stunning target practice, though. You definitely get better if you just play bots. It does suck a bit that it still counts on your stats, though.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So you play on an Aussie server at, say, 2 or 3 in the morning, maybe 4, 2 or 3. It's going to be mainly bots. Like I had a day off work a while ago. There was some weird random day, like a Tuesday. I managed to pump out all the housework by about 9:30, maybe 10, and then I sat down and played some PUBG. There was one other person in the server, and it was the rest of it just bots. There, and we actually ended up kind of yelling at each other at the end, like, "How many kills did you get?" I got 30. I got 42. You piece of shit.
Yeah.
It was good. Yeah, but yeah, there you go. That's PUBG now.
So have you been playing DayZ lately?
So here's where I'm at. Do you remember Friendly Bandit?
Yes.
Right. So me and Friendly brought a DayZ server a little while ago. I think I let you know. And I have currently about 500 and something gig of footage that we got out of that server over 2 months. We used it because I wanted to see where vanilla DayZ was now, as opposed to the last video I made about it, which would have been in, oh shit, boy, I don't even know. I could probably actually look that up because I have the internet. But I'm not going to do that. So I wanted to see what had changed in the vanilla version. I know, right? And before anyone rages at me, private servers, like modders, saved DayZ. I know this. I know this for a fact. Without them, I don't even know where it'd be, Boydie. But anyway, I wanted to see what it was like, and I didn't want to go on modded servers because that wasn't the DayZ I was playing, and I wanted to see if I could rekindle that fire, like the burning need to get out of my bed in the morning and play DayZ. Do you remember that shit?
Mm-hmm.
Just the obsession that game was. So me and Loco jumped in for a couple of days. Good on him. And Bandit's really good with the technical stuff, like building things and knowing what to do and blah, blah, blah. Whereas I, as always, am a blunt instrument and, oh, there's a thing and what does this do and how quickly can this zombie kill me? So we recorded all of it. And the aim was to make a video called like something along the lines of DayZ, Where Are You Now? And well, I've got all the footage, but I can't make the video. I just can't do it. And I honestly don't know why. I think it's because I tried to keep an open mind, and DayZ's never looked better. Holy shit, that's beautiful. And I last year built a new computer. There's nothing it won't do in high res. So it's a 14900K. So 13900K. I run a 4080. I've got all the RAM necessary. DayZ looks so fucking good, man. So good.
In 4K, it's brilliant.
Oh, shut up. It is so good. And it was great. I did some hunting, which animals have been in the game for a long time. Even when I stopped playing, they were just coming in. That's how long I've been playing it for, by the way. Animals have just started coming in. I can't put my finger on why I don't want to make it.
It doesn't feel the same.
No, it actually doesn't.
But there are still people to this day who miss the old 3.63, the update to the new engine, DayZ. Some of the things I hear is that the PvP has never been the same. An argument, you said that modding saved DayZ. There's also a very good valid argument that console saved DayZ as well, because it gave them a huge cash injection after sales of DayZ were plummeting, and Arma 3 was quite a few years old as well. So that console, but to do that, a lot of people state, and correctly, I believe, that a lot of concessions were made to allow for the game to be playable on console. So it doesn't quite have that same hardcore feeling that DayZ used to have. And yeah, there's a lot of people who feel that way. I would love to see you do it. As someone who was a mega fan of DayZ, Vizino saying there in chat, doesn't feel the same opposed to what, the mod or 0.62? 0.62. The mod was completely different. That was on Arma 2. But the actual dedicated DayZ standalone early access, DayZ to this day feels different. Like I watched a clip, the old melee system, Charlie, running in circles around each other with the axes chopping.
That's my first video.
The melee system now is so much better, but there's this stupid part of your brain that goes, I miss the old style.
Well, you weren't guaranteed a hit.
The old style clunking. The old style clunking of your inventory as you ran along. Even some of the zombie noises that they used to make, as opposed to the ones they make now. There's smarter minds than us two could probably explain it better, but I get 100%. Where you're coming from. But that said, I still love what it is now myself personally.
Hey, listen, because I liked it. I loved it. Me and Loco and Bandit, we had a lovely time. We set up base. I didn't know what all the gas was up at the Northwest Airfield. I was filled in by someone. They showed me all the new stuff. But man, I walked around the entire map and then through the middle and then tried to use my memory to run from paths that I'd run, honestly, mate, 1,010 times.
Yeah.
From Cherno to the Northwest Airfield. I could get there just with my eyes closed, nearly running in a directly straight line. But even all those things have changed because the topography's changed. And I found that fascinating because I didn't know what I was going to run into around the corner. Oh, I thought this was something else. Oh, they've changed that. Oh, shit, that looks cool, man. But, I died 2 or 3 times just from scratching myself. Like, I couldn't cure myself.
You got a blood infection. Yeah. Probably use dirty rags or something. And
I'm like, well, that's fucking dumb. It's fucking stupid. Absolutely ridiculous. There's nothing you shouldn't be able to survive.
You can survive it. It's just a very, very difficult, protracted. You need a lot of tetra and basically, food and water to stay near you. But you probably had that one where you constantly making the grunting sound. And if you don't use tincture or kill it before it reaches, I think it's around about 10 minutes, it's pretty much fatal, barring if you are very lucky in how you treat it.
Yeah. Oh, look, a couple of times I came pretty close, but brought myself back. And yeah, it was, but overall, I fucking loved it. And I did get some of those feelings back, like anticipation. I walked out into so off the coast. I purposely didn't have a look up and down the road. I just saw the water, spun around real quick and didn't see too much and walked straight into the trees, man. Just started heading in whatever direction. And then I didn't know the names of the town. It was that feeling. It's like the first time I ever played DayZ.
A feeling of being lost.
Yeah. Loco, we spawned down on the coast somewhere and then we're like, what do we do? And we're like, I don't know, because we'd only ever seen Frankie. That was it.
Yeah.
And it looked so cool. And then we wandered off and we were going through the trees and we didn't know and we hadn't seen anyone. We'd seen some zombies and we punched them out. It was fucking great because they weren't really dangerous at the start of the game. And then we made our way to an airfield that doesn't exist anymore. You know what I'm talking about?
Northeast Airfield?
Yeah. And we're like, this is cool. We found these M16s, and we're like, whoa, this is sick. And we got up there and shot some guns, and then in our wisdom, we thought, yeah. Oh, we'll just log out here, yeah, great. Nah, we logged back in. Within I think about 2 minutes, someone came around the corner, called us some terrible names and shot us dead, and we didn't really know how to do anything. So it's like, oh, where were we? How did we get there? Is there a map for this game? We had no idea.
Yeah.
That was great.
Do you ever look back, because you said the name of Frankie, and that just reminded me, you were unfortunately, due to geography, you weren't able to play with them often, but you were in kind of with the big names at the time, in particular Jam Jar, Mr. Blackout, and them.
Black and all that. Yeah, I played with those guys a fair bit, but I never made any videos about it because I didn't. Honestly, I felt like I was an imposter. Does that make sense? Yeah, I felt that. And so I'll pause that for a second. I was watching your stream the other day. I can't remember the names of anyone in it. There was 4 people, young man and a young lady, and then another older dude with you. And you said the name Mr. Blackout and the tapes he made and all that. And they both went, who? What? I was fucking shocked and offended. I think I threw a man tantrum. And I'm like, how dare you? How dare you? And then I realized
a long time ago, Charlie.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. But they meant a lot to us, man, because they were the reason that we learnt a lot from them. And they were genuinely.
Did you ever watch my spotlight with Mr. Blackout?
I've never seen 2 people that drunk on a stream.
That was fucking messy, mate. Oh my God. I have not gotten drunk since that night. I have not gotten drunk. That was a turning point in my life. It was like, I can't drink like that. I'll kill myself if I drink like that.
And you didn't even say anything racist, which is weird for you. Look, I was lucky enough to play with those guys. I became nice and tight with them. I was the tightest with Mr. Nice Guy on Blueberry.
I love those guys.
The most talented shooters in that game, by the way, if you didn't know.
Yep.
Jam Jar and Black. Well, Black was very good with a Mosin. Very good.
Very.
And Jam Jar was a real run and gunner. He was a door smasher. That's what he was. But the talent lied with Blueberry and Mr. Nice Guy. And we did become friends. We still are.
And Gav.
Oh, Gav.
And Mike.
Oh, fellas.
There was the 4 of them.
They were a great crew, by the way. All those guys were great. I was very grateful to be able to spend time with them and play with them. But I didn't make videos about it because I did feel like an imposter because they were celebrities, man. They were so up there.
Yeah.
That it was like, I can't believe it. I can't
Mr.
believe
Moon.
you guys. Yeah, he was a trip.
He was awesome.
I didn't like his buddy.
Chow.
Yeah, we didn't get along. But, you can't get along with everyone.
Look, and Chow's shtick would not run in today's day and age. That was the so-called golden era of YouTube where a white guy pretending to be an Asian guy was still peak humor.
A Dutch dude.
Yeah.
It was pretty gross. But I didn't like it. But I didn't like, I didn't. It was funny. I've also never seen anything as cinematic as what those guys made.
Yeah. And story as well. Like, I've tried to explain to people that one of Mr. Blackout's shining qualities was the way he was able to take different play sessions, edit them, add music and stuff like that. And he made his diaries feel like the journey of one survivor through multiple months. It was just, the guy was a true genius.
Yeah. Yeah, that pulled me in. But what a great series that was.
Yep, the diaries and the hardcore, and he even did that little mini comeback. But he was like you, same as Jam Jar, like you, mate. They fell off from the game. There was a burnout of a lot of amazing creators who were the peak creators in their relevant areas at the time. For the most part, there were very few who stuck and stayed with the game through hell or high water.
Well, honestly, I can speak for a couple of those guys right now and tell you that felt like DayZ just gave up on us, like the Hickson, those types all just went, nah, well, you've done your thing. We don't really want to back you up anymore. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. Thanks for that. I'll go and do something else.
I know Jam Jar in particular was very, very angry with the direction the game headed. Yeah.
Super angry.
He went all into with his red zone server and
yep. He committed like we committed. Like he put the effort in that we did too. But he had a whole team, just like we did behind the scenes. He really committed. He was hurt. I can tell you that right now. He was very hurt, and as well he should have been. When you put everything in, and you get nothing back, but we'll do this. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, no, it's coming. Shut the fuck up, man. It's not coming. Just take it easy and just say that. But that's just my opinion. Just so everyone knows.
You weren't alone, and when there's more than one, when you've got if we look at it, Mr. Moon doesn't play the game anymore. Like he'll have the occasional dabble. Mr. Blackout, the occasional dabble. KD Wolf plays it a lot now. I see him on quite a bit. And he's just still the nicest guy ever. I love the guy.
Yeah. He always was, mate.
Potato, I don't know what he's doing these days. Deadly Slob hasn't come back to the game. He's made a huge play in Escape from Tarkov. Doesn't play with Aces Fury anymore. Who else was there? The big names back in the day. Jack Frags, Frankie, Sada. Sada still dabbles in the game, but mostly Armour.
Sometimes, yeah. Mostly. Armour's still pretty dope, though. Did you ever play Armour 3?
Yeah, dabbled, but it's not really my thing.
That was good. I liked it as a military tactical game. That was fantastic. It still is today, actually. For a game that old, I haven't played Reforger, but Armour 3
Reforger's got a lot of us worried in that where because it's going to be a console game as well, that it might suffer the same as DayZ, step away from the hardcore battle sims or mill sims that BI's always been famous for, and a slightly more arcadey version to cater for console. So I'm watching it. It's a beautiful game. Their Infusion engine is stunning, absolutely stunning. But some of the interfaces and it's a bit of a mixed bag at the moment. I mean, I hear people who are all in on it, and I hear people who are like, oh, they're worried. So I'm watching with interest because I would love to see DayZ in that graphics engine, and that will happen eventually, in my opinion. Based just feel it. Yeah, it has to. Mad if they don't. DayZ's a bigger game for them than Armour. Just player wise and all the rest of it. And the strange thing with DayZ is, before the show, you and I were talking about Rust, and we looked at the player numbers. Rust peak is about almost 4 times what DayZ's peak is, but I wouldn't call Rust a true survival game like DayZ. And pretty much every other game that's tried to kill DayZ, be it Scum, be it Deadfall, Dead Matter, Survive the Night, 7 Days to Die, none of them have been able to. They all face the same problems DayZ does. When you're trying to do a game this ambitious on this scale, it's fucking hard. Yeah. It's a hard game to make work in a game engine.
I agree, mate. Scum was a weird one, but
it's still going. It's still going, but they've got their own issues. I think it's suffering from feature creep. You could call it creature creep because they just keep adding in stuff that I look at and I go, okay, it's starting to go more into fantasy land rather than just a prisoners surviving on an island. I enjoyed it, and it kicks DayZ's ass in some aspects, such as crafting and base building, but it loses out in other aspects.
Did you play Dead Side?
Yes. Yep. Dabbled in it.
That was okay. Nice building in that, by the way. Nice building and crafting.
Just didn't have the same vibe as DayZ though, and
it's very
I'm
boring.
not a huge fan of AI in survival games. That said, I've been playing Rust, but I'm playing PvE because I don't want to deal with the little toxic racist motherfuckers who play that game.
That would be a nightmare. That would be my worst nightmare, to get stuck in a server like that. Oh my God, the cringe factor would be phenomenal.
Yeah. Even back in the day, we never liked it in DayZ. You know, Vanguard's got that great video where he took out a bunch of racist little fuckers just dropping N bombs and all the rest of it, because he used to always play as a black character. I think he was trying to find them, so to speak, and go after them.
Yeah. I remember that. Man, so many good people made so many good videos about DayZ. It is still a good game.
It is, but I understand where you and Jam and all the rest of them are coming from, in that it did feel like it just never quite achieved what we were told it was going to be. To this day, I joke about how if you mention the word roadmap, the devs get PTSD. Because of that. We were there. We were live in the audience watching Brian Hicks reveal the 2015 roadmap. Helicopters, Charlie. Helicopters.
I remember getting pumped about it all, man. Like, just, oh my God. I actually got a bit of PTSD just there. Roadmap.
Yeah.
That's a word I think it came up at my actual work like 6 months ago, and I got off the Zoom meeting. It just went. So here's a roadmap, guys. Click. See you, motherfuckers.
And if you weren't around back then, you sit there and you think it can't have been that bad. But at the time, it was, because those of us who had bought in on the early access, it was a bare bones game when DayZ first released. I think there was the Mosin, the M4, the Amphibia, which you could never find a magazine for.
Never once.
I think the Colt
MP5.
Yep. There was 3 backpacks. You had the Tulloon, the Mountain, and the hunting backpack, which everyone wanted. I remember when the Smurf vest got added, and you could never find never find it. And then I finally did find one, and it died. I died when I got it, and
I think my favorite. Do you know what your favorite patch was? I think mine was 5.3, when they were doing a lot of their backwards fucking up, and all the guns were on the coast. Do you remember that?
That was 0.57. Mine was the patch before that, 0.55, where it was brutal. The loot was on the coast. If you didn't get off the coast, you were going to die, because there was fuck all food. And once you got well inland, it was good. But 0.57 was the complete reversal of it. And it was a good patch, just purely for
it was fun. It was a fun patch, and that's what it was. It was just a fun, silly patch. If you got killed on the coast, you could run to any building, and a gun's probably already spawned there. And those are the kind of interactions where you're like, yeah, okay, he might have an AK, but I've got an M1911 pistol and a can.
We did one of our last Survivor game style events in that 0.57 patch. I remember I killed, I can't remember his name, one of our American buddies, not Estot, who was
on it.
I killed on it. And I think I was running that one, and I ended up saying, no, mate, just respawn again, because he made the mistake of not knowing about the guardhouses, and I kitted up, and I hunted him down and killed him, and he was raging. He's like, I got off work early or something like that to do. So oh, mate, just jump back in again.
Yeah,
and,
go on. Geez, you kept that quiet, you sneaky bastards. Look, man, but what a great crew they were on it, and Estot.
Yes, Estot. And I was surprised you didn't say his name before, Moselina.
Yeah. Imagine writing a song for a gun for a content creator.
Yep.
But that's the kind of fans that these guys had.
Yeah.
Fans would do anything for them.
Yep.
It's just, yeah. And those two you were interviewing didn't know who who Mr. Blackout were. But that is the change of the time. I got to tell you, I couldn't name 2, 3 DayZ content creators now. I just couldn't. Same thing, I guess.
So just had someone send me a message. They're looking for a modder to help them. So yeah, no, it's. Mate, there's a lot of local boys who are killing it. Your state, mate, Tasmania, just seems to be a hub for them. You know, you've got Ben Fruit, R. Diddy, just
Diddy, yeah. I remember him.
Yep, he floats in and out. He, you know, the missus, they've got kids. I think he's got another kid on the way. So, you know, life has just distracted from him. But he was one of the first true big ish content creators in the Australian area. Yeah, after Vidge kind of stopped making videos, because Vidge is, in my opinion, is always the true king of DayZ. He really helped put our small community on the map in the eyes of the dev team back in the day. You know, him and Hicks
with
had a very special
videos.
relationship.
Yeah, with poignant videos though,
Very.
not the slapstick humor shit that sometimes we'd make.
Yeah.
His was never his coverage of the his recap of the Pipsy ACAF event is one of the best videos I've seen when it comes to DayZ, because he broke everything down in that very special way that Vidge did.
Yeah. I'm still friends of him to this day. You know, there's barely a day goes past where I don't send him a message about something and just chat about something. I love the guy. He's just, and God, he's a demon when he hits the piss too, isn't he?
Yeah. I remember he turned up to PAX with
he didn't have a room.
Plan.
No plan.
I didn't
just turned up. I'm here.
Did he have a bag? I didn't even see it.
He slept on the floor of Vanguard's room, and ended up on the piss with Hicks until the early hours of the morning or something like that. It was just, I love the guy, but and it was like almost polar opposite to how he is in his videos. He's this very stern, serious man when it comes to his content and the way he plays DayZ, and then he just turned up. And it was like, fuck yeah.
He did. He literally just walked in. How hey, fellas? Yeah. Like, what? You didn't? We didn't know you were actually coming. No,
I did, because we had a shirt for him. We had those shirts made. I've still got mine. But
buddy.
Yep. But yeah, he's a madman. I fucking love that about him. Just such a nice guy to boot. I've got so much time for him, and so smart. Fuck, he's a smart guy.
Yeah,
as you said, his way of analyzing. If you haven't, anyone watching me knows how much I love Vigilante Gamer. If you haven't, go check his channel out, just Vigilante Gamer, and then type the word DayZ, and you'll get links to him. His content is the best. He's the thinking man's DayZ player. No one has made tactical content as good as that guy. He just has a knack for explaining shit that the rest of us go, you know, why did you do that? Oh, I just felt like the right thing to do. He'll be able to tell you why it felt like the right thing to do and why it was or wasn't the right thing to do. But yeah,
it's very true. That's probably the best way. He could probably explain to you why you did something. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, he's very, and he also, very clever.
You need to go watch his. He did a breakdown of a Toprek gunfight. And his basic analysis of it was no one else should do this. The only reason this worked is because it was Taupe. I wouldn't do this, but Taupe is just a different sort of beast when it comes to playing DayZ. The guy is just a freak of nature. And yeah, he was like, I don't know why you would do that if you aren't him, because
That's true.
But no. So are you still playing DayZ?
Honestly, probably only a couple of times a month. I just jump on and have a run around. I've got one character, and sometimes it's reset and sometimes it's not. I don't look for anything. I don't look for interaction now, but I definitely take part in it. There doesn't seem to be as many edgelords around. Like, they're not so much blatant racism as soon as you run into someone. I haven't been killed on the coast or anything. I got drilled on the Northwest Airfield a little while ago. It's like, yep, didn't see that coming. But they didn't say anything. They just came over and I guess they took my stuff and jogged on. But yeah, no, it was It's still good. I still play it a couple of times a month. I can't even tell you. I've actually moved away from, like, I'm still gaming and I still have a relationship with NVIDIA. So if there's a game coming out that they want, so if they want someone to have a look at, or they feel this way about this game, or they'll give it to me and say, hey man, play this.
Did they ask you to look at the day before?
Yeah, I passed on that one though.
The scam before. Fucking
Yeah.
oh,
No, they said, like, they reached out and said, what do you know about this? And I'm like, honestly, dude, don't even worry about it. It's not going to be a thing. Don't
but
invest
they already
any
partnered
time or
with it.
effort.
That's what stunned everyone, Charlie, was
Well,
when
that's
they
what
did
good
that
marketing
joint.
does. That's what good marketing does. That's what a good con man does. It's the second time they've done that. So, but and you know what? It'll happen again. A good shiny video puts everyone in the right frame of mind.
I just don't know how they got conned so bad into thinking that game was legit.
Well, it happens, man. Like, but they weren't the only ones. That
No.
So many people, software companies,
Number one
angel
most
investors.
wishlisted game of all time, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it happens. These things happen. These guys appear and then disappear, and that's the gaming community.
Now, you're aware of the trip I went on to Prague. Do you know what they revealed to us there, the Frostline DLC? Have you seen anything about that?
Not one thing.
So the big reveal was that they're going to be releasing a new map for DayZ later this year. It is a reskin of the 10-hour map, which is a Arma 2 map. But made into a cold environment with volcanoes and stuff like that.
Oh, Tanoa.
Yeah. Now, Tanoa was a tropical map.
Yeah, that is that is a great map.
They're reskinning it to be a frozen hellhole.
Oh, why? Oh, God. No, I'm just saying that because I like Tanoa.
No, I genuinely wanted to hear your view on it as an old school DayZ player, because it's been met with mixed. Console community overwhelmingly, the majority are happy because they don't have modded maps. They don't have the dozens of maps that we've got. So yeah, it's been met with okay. I'm excited. It's a new professionally made map. They've been hiring a bunch of people. A lot of them are good friends of mine to work on it. Lad, Mike Doherty, Windstride, some of the best people in the community. Windstride is definitely he's god tier when it comes to creating custom items. But it was interesting. That was your reaction, because a lot of people have said, why do that to 10-hour? Why not just leave 10-hour as it is? And I myself I went there knowing it was probably going to be a map, but my heart was hoping that it was going to be a brand new, custom designed for DayZ, never before seen map.
So this is what I'm talking about. This I don't like. Put the effort in. You made the money. Let's go. Build. That's another thing. Like, my honest reaction is why? Why would you? Tanoa is a stunningly great map. Like, it's just beautiful. It's accessible. You have to work hard to get to a few of those places. A couple of places you can only get to by chopper. You know what I mean? This is a really well thought out map, and whether they're going to turn it into something, a frozen Iceland, it makes no sense. Are they actively trying to make DayZ harder to survive? Is that like? Is it an actual? Like that's a real question.
They have been. They have been. The frost mechanic that we first saw on Namolsk was game breaking. And Namolsk is a modded map, even though it's made by Adam Franco or Sumrak, who's the lead dev of DayZ now. But it added a frostbite mechanic, Charlie, where if you didn't watch your character's temperature, so you're constantly stopping to light fires just to warm your character back up again, which created a whole new dynamic. I loved it. That was the purest beauty of DayZ in that, it forced you to have interactions. And more often than not, those interactions were people come up and say, mate, can I share your fire with you?
That's dope.
Once it would get to a certain point where, if you lit a fire on the South Island of Namolsk, you were probably going to be shot. But the sad part is that, as Zeno just said, sadly, the side effect of Frostline is that we will never see Tanao in DayZ officially. So, it's kind of sad in that aspect. There's a name in chat, Charlie, who Greedy Peasant, who just shared a logo. He's another Aussie legend playing DayZ, mate, but he's a console player. And he really flies the flag for the console community globally, but especially here down under. He does his own DayZ podcast focused on console, which is needed because I don't know. I've watched a few people play DayZ on console, and I don't know how the fuck they manage it, Charlie.
I know how to turn on my console. I watched Netflix on it once. That's it. I tried to play a shooter on there once. No, that's not true. I play Forza Horizon 5 on my Xbox, but I tried to play a shooter because I think Fortnite is free, and I downloaded it. I'm like, man, I haven't played, because I actually bought the Xbox for the next I believe that some games should be on console. Right? I've always been very honest about that. And some games should only be played on console. Gran Turismo is one. That's a console game all day long.
Sorry, I'm just laughing at what Zito wrote. A starved man will drink water from a toilet, I suppose.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Here we go. But I bought it I also believe Grand Theft Auto should be only played on console. I realize the irony that I'm sitting here next to what is now a, $7,500 PC that would run it 1,000,000 times nicer on this monitor. Some games need to be played on console.
Mate, I played Red Dead Redemption on console, and then I tried to play Red Dead Redemption 2 on PC, and I just couldn't. I don't know why. My brain just couldn't get around it. I tried it on stream, and there's a memorable moment of me like, press, and there was this, it was telling me to press this button that went like that, and I was like, what the fuck's that button? I can't see that button. I'm like, what is it? It was spacebar. It was the logo for spacebar, and I was like, it just got me in such a bad frame of mind. I haven't played fucking Red Dead Redemption 2 since, which is a crime against gaming. But especially as much as I loved Red Dead Redemption, the original game, but yeah,
buddy. Look, console has its place. I can't play shooters on them, but I can play everything else.
What do you got coming up in the future, mate?
For me, there's I'm looking forward to, and I'll be interested to see what you're looking forward to. Stalker 2 is coming, ladies and gentlemen. And it's coming hard. It was in development. It should have been out already, but the creators were in the Ukraine. So they had to jog on and go somewhere else, but the game is close. I don't know if I could say this or not. I think I can. So NVIDIA reached out, so I'll be doing that. I'll be making a video about that and putting it out. It's going to be great. Stalker was fantastic. Great series. It reminded me of DayZ a fair bit, actually, but I think that's just the Russian, you know what I mean? That vibe.
Mate, DayZ has a lot of inspiration from it, especially Namolsk map. Sumrak borrowed very heavily from Stalker for a lot of his inspiration for Namolsk.
Yeah. Well, Stalker 2 is coming out soon, bud, and I'm looking forward to that. But the truth is, I've kind of leaned away from gaming anyway. I've taken on a new project, and it's been a passion of mine for years, and it's just going off its face, man. Like far quicker and fast paced than anything I did in gaming. And that's got nearly 95% of my attention at the moment. The only thing that's kept me hooking in there is Stalker 2 is coming. I still play a bit of DayZ. I love Battlefield. I still love Battlefield more than anything, really.
Even after that debacle of, was it 2042?
Have you
Vehicles
played that
driving up the side of buildings, and
have you seen
they've
that
come
recently?
back. They've
Buddy.
But isn't it sad though, Charlie, that we're getting so many games these days, like No Man's Sky? You could put DayZ in this category as well, where games are being released substandard, and some of them aren't even coming out like DayZ was as an early access.
That's right.
DayZ's defense is that, and if you watch the interview I did with Dean Hall, DayZ was pretty much like a flagship Steam early access or green light project, I think they called it. Release. So it was kind of testing stuff, but there are games coming out now as full release that are fucking broken. Cyberpunk was a big one that just released in such a bad state that they've got to then try to fix it to make it playable.
Well, I made a video on Cyberpunk, right? And the console guys had it much worse than we did. I made the video about 3 months after Cyberpunk came out. And if you remember, I only had 2 problems. And one was a graphical issue, and the other one was the motorcycle wheel didn't turn when I was going forward, the front wheel. I had no other problems, man. It ran perfectly for me.
My son played it on his computer and said it was okay for him, but
but I saw the massive list of stuff on console that went wrong. Not as but some games,
Fallout
some games should be alpha. Yeah, that's right. So Skull and Bones, massively hyped, and just died within. I mean, I refunded it and I got it for free.
and then we can't go past. It got mentioned before the day before. Yeah, that was just a crime against. It was disgusting to see that, but it's just But then we're getting some of these smaller devs who are hell divers, and these games that are just coming out of nowhere, and even smaller games like what was the one there everyone was playing where you had to pick the trader in the group. All the big streamers were playing it together as a group, and then there was that Fall Guys one, or Fallout, or whatever it was, where you played all the little mini games together, and but they're all coming from smaller dev or indie
Some really
devs.
creative, funny types. Funny. It's hard to say it like this and not be condescending, but funny little games.
Yeah,
it's true.
Yep.
Yeah. AAA world can. Back to Battlefield 2042. Battlefield's never come out flawlessly, never once. It's called BattleNet. It's just awful. Whenever a Battlefield comes out, you have to know, but the first couple of months it is going to be shithouse because they just patch and patch and patch and patch and patch. They work as far as they can. So I played Battlefield 2042 last night. Nothing wrong with that game, man. Beautiful. Nice and fast and smooth. If you like sniping, it's an extremely fun game.
Okay. I haven't played. I can't even remember the last time. I think the last time I played PUBG was when I played those games with you that time, and you convinced me to try the repeater, and I actually did quite well with it. I was quite surprised. I was like,
repeaters, cool, man.
Yeah.
That's some nice. PUBG's got some nice mechanics, and even now, if you find it back up now and had a game, you go, "Oh, what the fuck's that?"
I'm tempted to with classic Erangel having been released.
Well, come on, brother. Let's fucking go. Shut the fuck up and do it.
Yeah, I might.
No,
I might see if I can drag my PUBG semi-pro friend in to drag us to a chicken dinner.
Oh, yeah. Squads is a rich market. It's a tough one. But you like it, especially with a Wrangle Classic. It's
But even with that game, the last game I played and I ended up in a squad, it's one of the things, because I generally like to play solo. And I ended up with a bunch of edgelords saying CP related stuff to me, trying to get a rise out of me, and I was just like, guys, I'm sorry, but I've got a 20-plus-year-old son who lets me know what all the latest edgelord stuff is. You're not going to say anything that gets a rise out of me, boys. So you can keep on going. I'm just going to ignore you and do my own thing, or we can, sit down and have a decent chat while we play this random game together. But oh my God, mate, it was like 2015. What's his name? Bloody Filthy Frank style edgy comments that they were making. And I was like, look, there's a time and a place for that sort of humor. I'm a firm believer that anything can be funny, but yeah, it just left me feeling quite ill inside. It was like, oh God, mate, you don't know me from a bar of soap.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. That's what trolls do, isn't it? They just trap.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a troll myself, but there's a line. But no, Charlie, mate, this has been a really good catch up. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, no, buddy. I was trying to think of something funny, but I just remembered I'm just not funny. So
no, you were, mate. You're a funny guy, and I still get the occasional comment. What's Charlie doing these days? Charlie's doing stuff, folks. He's in a different sort of sphere to the DayZ community now, but he's still out there. He's still active. He's got a job, got a family, all the rest of those sort of stuff. As you get older, he's got a few greys poking through in the mustaka.
It's true.
Yeah,
so bad.
Life catches up with you.
Yeah, look, still gaming, buddy. I still like it. The podcast for me is all my focus now, and that's my actual true happiness, if I'm really honest.
Tell us about that.
About the podcast.
Yeah,
it's really straightforward, man. It's true crime, telling literal stories about true crime. I've got a wonderful co-host.
A booming industry right now. Like, I watch so much. I'm addicted to DoomTube. I watch so many different true crime channels talking about that sort of stuff.
Yeah, man. Have you listened to the podcast yet?
No, I didn't know you were doing one.
Didn't I? Yeah. So I got one called The Crime Collective, number 2 in Australia, I think, at the 2nd or number 3 or something like that. Yeah, it's just taken off. I've got a wonderful partner her name's Claire, and she's an investigative journalist. So I was lucky to team up with her, and she's from down here as well. She is articulate. She is funny. She's got a wonderful speaking voice. She's a great researcher, and she's very compassionate. And then I am about as subtle as a sledgehammer covered in lemon. I'm just blunt, and I say literally everything that pops into my head. So we tell each other. I'll tell her a story that she's never heard. She doesn't know I'm going to tell it. And then vice versa. It's a lot of fun. It's called The Crime Collective. And that's what I'm focusing on now. I've enjoyed gaming. The truth is, I'm at that age where my eyesight's, not what it was. I don't have the hand-eye coordination. Like, I watch my son play. He's just flicking left, right, and center. And, oh, my God. I can't keep up with what he's doing. Ham Sam, he's fantastic, buddy. He's not a little boy anymore. He's a big man. Yeah.
Same with my boy, mate. He's this is his final semester of university, and then he's got to decide: does he go and become a wage slave or go for his masters? We're trying to encourage him to go for his masters because he still lives at home with mum and dad. We keep it saying to him: if you wanted to move out, we'll support you, but you're mad if you do. Stay here where all the bills are paid for. There's food on the table, and you can keep it saving and just do what you want to. You don't have a family yet, so now's the time to do that, because once you do get a missus and kids and become a wage slave, it's harder to do the things you dream of. So,
that's cool, man. That's dope.
Yeah, no, I'm happy for you, mate. I'm really genuinely happy that the Battlegrounds community thing took off for you as well, because you always were a dreamer of big things and That's why we did Aussie Convicts and why we did the Ashes and the events locally. Like, one of my favourite to this day is still the one where you shot me on the fucking ship, you bastard. But
Take
that was
that.
only because of a comms issue. I was in a separate channel to everyone else doing an interview with Vigilante Gamer and Brian Hicks, and Charlie was running the rest of the team in a separate TeamSpeak channel, and they didn't know that I was on the ship, and I'm up on the ship, and I was fucking killing it too. That was back when I could PvP, and the next thing, bang, I'm dead. And then I get, Boydie, were you on the ship? Yeah, mate. I might have just shot you in your big fat stupid head. Yeah, you did, but it was
Yeah,
good.
dude.
That was
My
a great
favourite-
event.
Like I've got
ACAT
probably
versus TLA.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of different favorite memories, but one of my probably my all-time favorite is when you heard the rumor that if you got shot in the pistol, you could die.
Yes. Yes.
And
We were down by Cherno on the coast. I
you
think
sat
just
there
east
with
of
your
Cherno on the
SKS.
beach. And I think, do it. You need to do it, boy. It'll probably kill you. Yeah, but I need to know if it. Oh, it does kill you. Okay.
Yeah. Well, shit. Man, I shot the end of your gun, and with I think it was a Magnum I had in my hands.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. And bang. But you sound surprised. You just go, oh. I'm like, oh, fucking told you, dickhead. Shit,
But we were testing
funny.
shit, man. We were testing shit back then in the days.
That was it too. That
yeah,
was exactly what DayZ was to us.
Yeah,
It
running
was
around with fucking 10 flare guns in our backpack because you could stash
never
an extra gun inside them. And then that time we ran into the hacker who literally just dropped that pack for us, and I could not believe how much stuff he had managed to fit using whatever hacks he was doing inside that backpack.
Yeah. Interview with a hacker. Yeah, I remember that dude. That was a fascinating video too. I got a lot of shit for that.
Yeah,
it's like we were glorifying. Like a lot of the comments in the video were like, you're sucking up to this guy and you're glorifying. And here's what I have to say to that. And I've never commented on it. The truth is, that's actually a good comment.
I just want to know which one of us is Freddie Mercury. I'm guessing you with the moustache.
Yeah, moustache. Yeah. So Mr. Blackout had a stalker. I don't know if you remember this, in game, and he could find Mr. Blackout on whatever server he was in at any time. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when we were making that video and we ran into that hacker, right? He was pretty open and transparent with why and what and how and blah blah blah.
Yeah, he was.
And people were saying, why were you sucking up to him? You know what? I wanted to keep making DayZ videos, but if you're in public service, bud, or private ones even, and they have the ability to go straight through a password protected wall into your server, what kind of career are you going to have? If every time you play, man, I got so much shit for those videos. It is unbelievable. But at the end of the day, I guess, fuck off. Sound about right? I don't know.
Mate, at the end of the day, you make the content that you want to. And if people like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. They can, in your classic words, mate, they can eat a dick.
Bag of them.
Yeah. Charlie, I wish you all the best for the future, mate. I look forward to whatever happens with Stalker 2. That will be interesting. And you said you've got potentially another PUBG event coming up?
Yeah. So we've been reached out to by NVIDIA again, who want to do something on a local level here in Australia. And we put it up on the Facebook, the Gaming Battlegrounds, and just said, hey, would you guys be interested? And bang, back they came. All the old faces, all the old names. Fuck yeah,
have Zoid mate in
it. Let's go. I'd rather punch myself in the dick. And in fact, I might get started on that after the podcast.
Record it. Put it on the on your OnlyFans account, mate.
Yeah, that's right. No, I'll be honest, he's a fucking dickhead, that guy. Anyway, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
His comments about a event that cost nothing to join were rather arrogant.
I'll say it. There was We were giving away graphics cards. Like these were 3080s, I think they were.
Yeah.
And his straight up public comments about it was, what a bunch of shit prizes. Why would I waste my fucking time doing it? And here he was, maybe top 20 in Australia at the time. Oh, maybe. That would have been.
No,
very,
I would say at that
yeah.
time he was probably top 5.
Oh, no way. No way was he that.
But
bad. He was
the best
up
part
there.
of it was his manager came begging you to let him be in the event, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. So I'd seen that someone sent me the video and said, "Do you realize he just said this?" And I went, "Cool." So I sent him a message and said, "You're done. You're out. Sorry, bud." And all his mates were sitting there. And then his manager reached out and said, "He's sorry. You took it out of context." And I said, "No, you can't get that out of context. How can you
don't give
bag
me
out
that
a competition that costs nothing where you could win so much stuff?" But some people have that super negative frame of mind, and I'm just pig-headed enough to go, well, I don't care if you're a celebrity. You can shove it up your clacker.
I don't even know if it was arrogance per se. I think it was just trying to be edgy.
He's too old to be edgy.
We're
We're too old to be edgy. I'm right.
I kind of like upsetting people. Yeah. But no, Charlie, all the best, mate. I wish you all the best with everything you've got. And, I reckon you should do that DayZ video, mate, because I think a lot of people would find it interesting, whether they agree or they disagree. But I think a lot of people would find it interesting hearing an old school DayZ's player on the current thoughts of vanilla DayZ. I know I would because I'm clouded by rose tinted glasses, and having been in the game, I really love speaking to the people who haven't played it in so long and hearing their views on it now, be they good or bad. It's why I do my show and why I love getting people on who aren't a fan of the game because you've got to hear those counterpoints. You can't.
It's not a true conversation if it doesn't have two sides. But I'm just having a look now on my drive. I just need to make sure I still have the raw game footage. I do. 612 gig of footage we took on that server we rented. Yeah, but it was fun, man. DayZ's a great game. I have made lifetime friends like you. We have been angry at each other. We have been elatedly happy. We have laughed until we were just crying, right? It's frustration.
The Australian Embassy was probably one of the greatest moments of our life. God.
That got so loose so fast.
We went onto an American server, and this was in old school Electro when you had the old office/school building across from the PD, and we were in the PD, weren't we? And then we ended up in the school, and we declared that the school was now Australian soil,
sovereign territory.
and we were taunting all the Americans outside, and it was just, well, as I just said in chat, it was just a good roast. We were at each other. There was shooting. There was people sniping from the top of the hospital there, and that was funny.
It was so. I think we both died tragically.
Yeah. I died, and then I had to bail as well. But I wished I could have come back because being at Electro as well, it was easy to get a spawn in that area and run back into it. And yeah.
Oh man, I like just having this conversation. I feel like I could open up the YouTube channel and actually, no, I still have all the original videos on OneDrive. I'd love to make my favorite memories kind of thing. You know what? You've got me wildly motivated, Boydie, but that's what you do, isn't it, son? You keep people engaged in this game. Man, don't be modest. Shut up.
Shut up and stop
being modest.
Yeah, I haven't fired it up since the new patch dropped because I've been dabbling in Rust at the moment, but that doesn't mean I don't love DayZ. I'm just trying something different for a bit because there's mechanics in that game that I think DayZ should have. Like one of the things I'm loving at the most is, and I've said this many a time, the thing DayZ lacks is other than military locations and a few, like go to a hospital to get some first aid gear, it lacks interesting POIs. They are places of interest. They sort of made one with the bunker in Livonia, where you go in there and you've got to complete a couple of tasks to be able to get through it and that. But other than that, there's not really much you can do in DayZ in the way of things at those locations. Some mods have got some good stuff where you need key cards and stuff like that to open it. But the thing I love with Rust is you actually go to these locations and you've got to interact with what they call them monuments, and you get resources. But it's also a very dangerous time because everyone knows that the giant excavator has been fired up or something like that. So you can create organic PvP / interactions. And I would love to see mechanics like that in DayZ. And the crafting. Crafting in DayZ is absolutely shite.
It's not just that. Look, one thing I can tell you about this recent dabbling back into DayZ I had was that I put a scope on an SKS, and I looked down the sight, and I was looking into the gun, not into the scope. And then I Googled it real quick, and that's a glitch with that, and you've got to do this. And I just went, fuck off. You shouldn't have to do that now. Like, no, those days should be over. They should be over, and there is no excuse for that. I don't care what anyone says. And
the only excuse I can give them, and I'll probably get the shit that I usually get is they're running on such a spaghetti code at the moment that they do one thing and it breaks a dozen other things. So they're constantly having to patch it. And that's why I still stand by DayZ will eventually end up on the Infusion engine because at the moment, this current engine, it's a mixture of Infusion and old Arma 2 legacy engine stuff.
Fingers crossed, man. Like, I hope it does go that way. You know what I mean?
So do I. And I'll be interested to see what they can do. Band-Aids on Band-Aids on soggy Band-Aids, like Murray just said in chat there, because, it deserves more because it's got a very loyal and passionate community, and it deserves – and they're hiring a lot of people at the moment, so I've got my fingers crossed that we're about to enter another golden age, but I say this all the time, Charlie, DayZ is the ultimate zombie game. It just won't die.
That's actually a great way to look at it. And nor should it, because it is, at its heart, a really good little survivor game.
With a lot of great memories associated. It's a game that gives you memories that you don't have a lot of them from other just pure PvP games. Whereas DayZ, it's not so much the firefights, it's those crazy interactions that you have that you remember. You might remember one or two kills here and there, but those interactions, like the Australian Embassy, like you shooting me on the beach or on the boat on the TLA one, it's those things you never forget because DayZ's kind of unique.
Yeah, that's true.
My man, all the best.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you, everyone who came in and watched this one. Charlie, where can they find you? I've got the links in the description of the video. Where can they go to join the Battlegrounds if they're in the Australian New Zealand community?
If you're in Australia, New Zealand, look, it's a gaming community called the Gaming Battlegrounds. We used to do just PUBG, but now we cover literally everything. We just keep it updated with gaming news at this point and bits and pieces and points of interest. It's a nice community. It's a clean community. There's no trolls, and it's a lot of fun.
Some trolling, a little bit of trolling.
No trolling. Don't come here with your shit. Because you're just not going to work.
Mate, all the best. And ladies and gentlemen, we will see you in the next one. I'm trying to line up the one, the only Lady Adventure. She was a German female content creator who also went on the DayZ Unite event, Charlie. And she's got a big recap video of that event coming up. So I'm going to be locking in a date with her after that video drops. And we're going to talk about what it was like as probably two of the smaller creators who were on that trip. So, we'll be able to give our unique perspective of it. But, thank you so much, mate. All the best. Give my love to Hamish, the missus, and give Loco a big kiss on the lips for me as well.
Oh, he's going to get it. I'll stare right in his eyes too while I'm doing it and say, that's from Boydie.
Oh, can you film it?
Yes.
Good.
I'll link you my OnlyFans.
All the best, everyone, and we will see you next time. Ciao for now.
See you guys.